Hello and welcome to episode 27 of the Sandeman Street podcast, a podcast about Dundee and Dundee United from fans of both clubs. I'm Andrew and today I'm joined by my regular co-host Jack. Jack, how are you this fine Monday afternoon?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I am absolutely superb, mate. Before we get into any sort of chat, though, we'll go over our socials for the umpteenth week in a row. Let's get some followers, please, if you would. That would be amazing and very much appreciated. On Twitter, we are at SandemanSTPod. That is at SandemanSTPod. And on Instagram, we are at The Sandeman Street Pod. At The Sandeman Street Pod, all in lowercase. We're also on YouTube. You can find our YouTube via our link tree on either of our socials that I've just went over, or just type in the Sandeman Street Podcast to the YouTube search bar. It should come up no problem. Give us a subscribe and like our videos. That would be much appreciated from me and Jack. So Jack, Dundee derby defeat for United at Tannadice. It's a bit like London buses, as they say. Dundee didn't win a game at Tannadice for God knows how long, and then they do two in a row. What was your thoughts on the big game?
It's not going to come as a surprise, mate, but I never watched the game. I've seen the highlights. I don't like watching the games on the telly much, so I decided to stay away from it. And it went as I basically predicted. United basically never go in the first half. Dundee, the better team. It came into it again the second half, already 1-0 down at that point, though, and we're just not able to get the equaliser. And it's a pretty tame performance from us, to be honest with you. I think people were saying Dundee were the better team. The highlights showed that as well. Had a few good chances in the first half, and United just weren't able to do anything about it. So, yeah. Bad day at the office all around, I think.
I'll tell you something, Jim Goodwin's been on the hallucinogenics giving his post-match interview. I know that they can't come out and say exactly the truth, I suppose, but some of the things he was saying were mental. I mean, one of the Dundee pages on Twitter made a bit of a piss-take video of him, and he says Dundee didn't have a lot of chances, and it's just like that on repeat, and every time he says it, another Dundee chance comes up. I mean, Dundee could have been 4-0 up at half time. And if it was 4-0, United could have had no complaints because all four of them, you probably could say that they should have scored them. The Cometio header, unmarked 8 yards out. The Cometio chance, unmarked 4 yards out. The Ryan Ashley chance at the back post, unmarked 2 yards out. And then they scored their goal. And United baffle me because I've seen them at the beginning of the season, and like the boys like Esselink looked the part. The goal. I know that you tend to raise your game in big games, and the game against Rapid Vienna was a big game, but they just baffle me how poor they seem to have been coming into the league. I mean, how can you beat? I suppose everybody's beating Celtic at the moment, but how can you have an unbeaten record against the Old Firm? I draw at Tynecastle, who Hearts 6 points clear at the top of the league. You go to Easter Road and get a point. You draw with Hibs at Tannadice. You batter Aberdeen. I mean, all these big games against the best teams in the league probably that United have done well in, and they looked absolutely horrendous on Saturday.
I don't get it, mate. Dundee is a big game for us. You know what I mean? It should be a game that the players are up for and motivated for. And I've said that to you numerous times. We seem to get up for the big games, and then when it's at all the teams that aren't bigger than us, we just crumble and we're not motivated. It's an issue on the management. It's an issue on the players, and it really isn't good enough, mate. A Dundee derby, obviously we're probably going to be biased. It's a big derby for us. You know what I mean? And the players have got to be up for it. And they just weren't. It seemed like they weren't interested at all at the weekend.
I mean, whether you think the Dundee derby's the first, the second, third, whatever biggest derby in Scotland, to us as supporters of the two teams within this derby, it's our biggest derby. We didn't think the Old Firm's as big as our derby because we're no emotionally invested in the Old Firm like we're invested in the Dundee derby. Going back to what you're saying about the getting the tune out of these players, I genuinely do believe that a better manager would get a tune out of some of the players that United have. I mean, boys like Fata, he is it Jim Goodwin's fault or is it his attitude? Because he looks a good player and bursts like he gets the ball, he could take on a man, but it's very. It was very isolated incidents on Saturday that he done that in. I mean, yeah, he needs to get the ball, and he needs to get the ball in good areas. So that's the team. But the good players in that United team, and they just don't seem to show it. The Zach Sapsford, anonymous. The boy Waters, he's no great. Lucas Stevenson looked a shadow of himself. I mean, the best player in the pitch for United, ironically, was Pan Kamara, and he's the one that basically assisted Dundee's goal.
Yeah. I think it is an issue on the management, mate. You've got to set your tactics up and play the players that you think you're going to get a tune out of the most. And you've got to set them up and give them opportunities to create the chances, like Fata, like Satsford, to make them chances. And he's not doing it. We play a style of football that doesn't suit our players that we've got, and ultimately we're paying the price for it this season. Is that on the management? Is that on the board or whatever? The players signing the people signing the players, probably. But you've got to work with you've got, and he's not doing that. He's not setting us up to make the most out of the players that we have at our disposal. Kind of like ultimately what gave him the sack. Nonsense at Celtic. He played the system that he wanted to play as an idealistic style of play, not the way that will suit the players at your disposal, and that's just not going to result in good results or performances ultimately.
No, it absolutely isn't. It just baffles me. I mean, seeing United at the beginning of the season and yeah, at Dens, and it's a hard one to kind of judge that on because I think Dundee are a far better team now to that game. They've got the same group of players, but they're far further on in their development of what they were then compared to now. And obviously United have got exactly the same team as well. There was barely any injuries either way. We were missing Murray and Wesley. United had a fully fit squad, I think.
Essentially, we've got
Essentially.
Papo still out, but
Papa wasn't involved in that game, so
yeah, true.
it's exactly the same team. So I just think it's absolutely mental. Now we spoke about it last week, and we've spoken about it in the past as well. United turned up at Dens and won. They didn't even really need to play well. They didn't play well. They just done what they needed to do. Dundee were really, really poor. Now, I know that when I say that, it sounds like sour grapes, and it sounds like me making excuses for Dundee losing. United deserved to win the game. They were the better team on the day, and they won the match, and it was a fair result. I've not got any complaints about it, but Dundee were extremely, extremely poor, and United weren't amazing, like by each team's standards, if you know what I'm saying. So you see that, and then you compare that to the game on Saturday. It was like night and day for Dundee, and it just don't seem like United were able to deal with it. And in the first half, in the second half, it was a different game. Dundee had a lead to protect, but I'd argue, by the way, right, that given all the United pressure, all the United possession, that Dundee actually, if you looked at the chances in the second half, were the more likely team to actually score. They had one very, very good chance with Ashe, where I think it was Callum Jones hit it from the edge of the box and it deflected up in the air, and Ashe hit the rebound and really should have scored. And other than Lucas Stevenson's chance where he kind of got a toe on it and John McCracken made a good save, United never actually looked like they were ever going to score, in my opinion.
Yeah, it didn't look like, looking at the highlights, it didn't look like we created much. It looked like Dundee snuffed us out basically all game. As mentioned earlier, Dundee made a lot of chances, mate, and should have I really scored 3 minimum in that game. And so, yeah, it's a I think Dundee were clearly the superior team at the weekend. No doubts about it. United just won out the gates. Dundee had United sorted from the first minute. And ultimately, for United's point of view, it's no good enough. No disrespect Dundee at all. But really, with the players we've got, I think, player to player, I think United have got the better team on paper. But Dundee are able to put the performance together, and we are, and ultimately we've tasted defeat because of it.
I mean, Dundee have... I think it's absolutely brilliant that now, how many managers is that sad? We'll go into that in a minute, but Stephen Presley's outlasting them all.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it quietly. I'm actually really liking Stephen Presley now. At the time he was appointed, I wasn't very happy about the appointment. I wasn't one of these people, I don't think, that were up in arms about it and wanting never to get the job. He wouldn't have been my choice, but I was willing to give him a chance. I've always said that he inherited a bad situation. The signings that we made in the summer, a lot of them are starting to show that they were maybe good signings. You look at the team on Saturday, McCracken, he inherited, Ashley he inherited, Luke Graham he inherited, Cometio he inherited. Derry Wright was signed in the summer. Derry Wright's been a good signing for Dundee. He's never going to be a spectacular signing. He's a versatile player who always gives his all, and he's a good player. He'll always do a decent job. He's one of their players, and every team needs one of their players or more. He's midfield. Dundee on loan for Hearts, Hamilton, and Callum Jones are permanents. All three of them signings have been good signings so far. Maybe not Jones, Hamilton and Dundee more than Jones, I would say, but Jones is, on his day, is a good player. But Danda's really starting to show in the past maybe month or so why we wanted him, basically. What he was like at Ross County. He's coming onto a game now, and he's pretty much because he's been put in his position, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then the front three on Saturday, Congreve, Hay and Yogan, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Congreve didn't have his best game, still effective. Ash Hay, past couple, 2 or 3 or 4 games, really kicking on. He wins everything in the air. He's about 5'3" and he wins his headers. The Esselink won one header against him the entire first half. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then Yogan, old school winger, just wants to take a man on. And you know what, right? I've said this when Paul McMullen played for Dundee. I'll never ever go too harshly on wingers because they've got the potential to make things happen for you. And yeah, maybe 8, 9 times out of 10 they'll not make something work. But that Yogan, he beats his man almost every single time. It's mental. Like in the lead up to the chance where Ashley had in the first half where it come across and he ran in the back post and put it over the bar. He beats the man about 4 or 5 times before he gets the half yard to the yard to be able to cross the ball into the box. And you're standing there, and I vividly remember standing there at the time going, "You've beat him, just put it in the fucking box." But he waits his time and he gets he bides his time and he gets that yard that he's looking for. And it's, you know what, right? He's coming right on at a game. He's only like 19-year-old. A lot of these signings have been good for Dundee. Wesley has been a good signing. Unfortunately, he's injured at the moment. I know that I'm saying all this based on the fact that we've won 3 games on the trot and it's all positive and sunshine and rainbows at the moment. And that could quickly change given who we're playing at the weekend. But it's definitely feeling a lot more positive, and if they can add a couple more faces in this January transfer window, it would be a big thing, because I think now, given, I don't want to speak too soon, and it is touching wood, based on Livingston's form this season so far, and based on what I think this Dundee team is capable of in terms of picking up more points as the season progresses, I kind of see we're finishing bottom of that league now. Yeah, maybe Kilmarnock could catch us. They're 6 points, 9 points behind, something like that. But we're like 13 points clear of Livingston now. Well, they've won 1 game all season. Are they going to catch us? I don't think so. Obviously, it is within the realms of possibility, but yeah, definitely a lot to be positive for. And I just think that Stephen Presley's come in. He probably knew that he's not going to be number one choice. And out of all the negativity that's surrounded Dundee for the past few months, he's just kept his head down, worked away, and you're starting to see things bearing fruit, and maybe we could kick on now and have a decent season. I don't think we're going to challenge with the top six or anything like that. But if we were to finish ninth in the league, 10th in the league, and be clear of the relegation worries by the end of March, April time, then that would be absolutely fantastic in my opinion.
Looking at it for a United, like just my point of view, I think Dundee are on a good run, mate. Like I know it's 3 games on the win and 3 wins on the bounce, but I'm just looking more at the performances and the highlights, and it seems like you're creating a lot more chances. You're okay. You're still a bit liable in defence, but it seems like from the games recently, anyway, it seems like your system's starting to work properly, and you're able to get the most out of your players. I think Dundee are going to be safe this season now. I think you've got enough points in the bag, essentially, where you're not going to get instantly relegated. I don't think Livy are going to make that run that they'll need to be safe. I think they're probably down. Obviously, still time for the season to go, but I just think that's the case. I don't think Kelly are probably going to get on that good of a run either. I think, depending on how the transfer window goes, I think you could finish above us as well this season. I don't think Goodwin's setting us up right for the players we've got. So I think Dundee could honestly have a pretty good season this season, and say it quietly, mate, I could see us maybe coming in 6th place. United are only, I think, 3 points off of 6th place just now, and he's better than us. I wouldn't be shocked to see Dundee go on a decent run and get maybe a 6th place finish to end the season, which would be a really good season for Dundee, in my opinion.
As much as I admire your positivity, I don't think the 6th place is within the realms of possibility. I mean, a couple of things bearing that. 5 of the positions are probably guaranteed, in my opinion. You've got Hearts, the Old Firm, Motherwell and Hibs. So there's only one place really that's probably up for grabs. Falkirk are in there at the moment. You've got United and Aberdeen round the bouts and us just tucked in behind. St Mirren have got a couple of games in hand. If they win those two, which is obviously a big if, they go back above us. But I wouldn't rule them out either, given what they've been like in the past few years. So they're always going to have a chance, in my opinion. Maybe they're not as good as they were in the past few years, but I wouldn't rule them out. But I just think that Dundee won't be consistent enough to get enough points together to get to that 6th place. And if you look at our next few fixtures, the high chance that they probably won't pick up any points. I think we've got Hearts on Sunday afternoon. We've then got a Scottish Cup game, and then we've got Rangers, and I think maybe Celtic after that. So it's not very favourable. So it makes that the fact that we've had these 3 wins on the bounce all the more important, in my opinion, because you're going into that run of fixtures. I'm just getting the fixtures up now. So Hearts at home, Rangers away, St Mirren away, Motherwell at home, Falkirk away. All of them are hard games. And if Dundee were to pick up 0 points out of those 4 games, you wouldn't be surprised. So it's, as much as it's all great just now and we're all dead excited, and it's obviously after a Derby win, even if some people on Twitter think that you shouldn't be excited, it could equally change in the blink of an eye. And it's, as a Dundee supporter, having experience of that happening on many occasions, it's not without the it could happen, absolutely no problem. But they're definitely in a better place now than they were in August. I remember sitting at the Hibs game at Dens on the opening day, and Hibs went 2-0 up in the first half, and it was just that it felt like we were going to have a season similar to when McIntyre and McCann were there, and we were, I've said before, to seen Dundee win 2 games in a year. It's no turned out to be that way, We have got ourselves into a good position, and hopefully, I mean, you're on to what? It's 22 points we're on, I think. Realistically, if you pick up another 12 points, you're probably safe. 4 wins out of the next, what, 15 games or something like that. Surely that's achievable.
Definitely achievable.
So, yeah, it's definitely positive. But just to touch on the United side of things again, what's your thoughts on the boy Esselink? Because see, when he signed for you guys, there was a lot of fanfare about him. You had that butcher on the Perth Road making up sausages and everything, and he's went halfway quiet. Uh, the he looked like an absolute bag of jaggies.
Mate, I don't know. I said it at the start of the season that I said he could become a legend at United, like a cult hero at United, because he looked so good, mate. See, when we first signed him against Rafa Vieira, he snuffed out their defenders with ease. He was winning every ball. He looked like he read the game really well, and I don't know what's happened, but he's came right off the boil. He's not even on the stovetop anymore, mate. He's just nowhere to be seen. He's honestly don't know what it is. It seems like he's now half a pace off everyone else. He's slower than everyone else. He's not reacting quick enough. He's not winning his headers. I don't know, mate, but he has came right off the boil, and it is a concern because why has he came off the boil? Is it because when he first signed for the club, he was up for it and everything, and wanted to prove himself, and now he's settled in and he's comfortable. He's not trying anymore. That could be the case. Is it Goodwin not giving him the motivation to perform better? Who knows? But it is concerning because he's not stepping up the plate like we hoped he would after his first couple of games for United.
Yeah, I mean, he was like the back three. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, the boy Graham was injured, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it was S-Link alongside the two boys that started with him on Saturday, and it seemed like he was the main figure in that back three, and he was the one who was probably the best out of the three of them. But unless he was injured on Saturday, it felt like he probably wasn't. He was the one who was first off at half time for Ross Graham to come on. And I've seen a lot of United supporters are saying that he changed the team who were so good at Livingston. Did you end up going to Livingston?
I never, mate. I was skint.
Yeah, well, obviously United, by all accounts, had probably one of their best performances of the season. I mean, Livingston aren't a great team, but not many teams have done what United done to them. On Tuesday midweek. So United had that great performance, and then Jim Goodwin's made however many changes he's made, and a lot of United fans are frustrated about that.
Yeah, might have been injuries, might have been fitness. Only the manager really knows what's happening with the players, and he's decided that that team that went out against Dundee was good enough to get the result, and he was clearly wrong. I think the back three of S-Link, Crestes and Juvu doesn't work together. It's too many gaps, too many holes. They're not able to stay in line with each other. It's just sometimes you get them partnerships that click. Sometimes you get the ones that don't, despite players being good players, and that seems like one where they're just not clicking with each other. I don't know why Graham wasn't starting. He's probably not match fit yet. But it's something that is quite concerning. We've also got the youngster Cleel Harden on the bench. I don't know if he came on the game, but he should be probably given a chance ahead of S-Link because S-Link's clearly suffering from maybe confidence issues, or he's just not good enough. Is not as good as we hoped.
I think the young lad Cleo Harden, I think he was one of the ones who was dropped.
Right.
I don't know what back three or back four played at Livy, but he was certainly one of them that was dropped, and I don't know if it was because Goodwin thought that there was better options, or he didn't think he was ready for a derby at being a 18, 19-year-old lad.
Yeah, I'd imagine that would be the case, that he just didn't think he'd be up for the derby.
if they're good enough, they're old enough. I remember United playing a 16-year-old right back, the boy that ended up at Villa in a derby. Tarn Courts played him.
Kerr Smith.
Yep. And at Dundee, the season that Dundee got relegated, they played United early in the season, and Finn Robertson had been playing as a 16-year-old every week leading up to it, and then James McPate dropped him for the derby, and then later in the season went back to Tannadice, and he played him in the derby, and he was brilliant. So if they're good enough, they're old enough, in my opinion, no point in playing them in games like Livingston and Falkirk and Kilmarnock and then going, he's not playing in a derby, or he's not playing against Celtic. If he's playing well, play him. That's the only way that he's going to develop.
Yeah, exactly. If you're coming up against better players, you've got no choice but to improve your game. You know what I mean? So, like,
he's not necessarily going to be playing against better players in that particular game, Jack, but the atmosphere, and he's a United supporter, so he's going to feel that in a derby as a young lad. He's not going to have developed his personality enough yet to be completely composed than he would in 5-10 years' time.
Yeah.
But the only way he's going to learn how to be that way is to play in it and make mistakes and grow as a person. If he's not exposed to that environment, he's never going to pick it up. I know that in time you'll probably end up playing in a derby, but if he's playing in a game against Livingston where you've had one of your best performances of the season, and he's been playing before that and playing well, play him. I don't understand why you would go away to Livingston, have your best performance of the season, and then turn up on a Saturday and change it. Unless, like you say, boys are injured, keep the same team. Like, I could understand totally United fans' frustrations. It's just daft, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like you say, mate, giving players exposure to that environment, the pressure makes diamonds, mate. And I feel like at a younger age as well, you are going to make mistakes, but you're also going to adapt quicker. You're going to learn quicker than someone who's a bit older. Leaving them even for a 17-year-old to a 20-year-old, you're getting a 17-year-old experience at a younger age. They're going to adapt quicker and they're going to improve their game quicker. Goodwin's obviously felt he wasn't ready for the derby, despite playing well against Livy and playing another few games as well. They're probably just thinking of protecting him, but ultimately it's damaged the result, and it maybe damaged his development as well, because that exposure could have made him a better player.
The thing is like United have always been seen, well, for a long time have been seen as this team who developed boys. In the noughties and 2000s and 10s, they had a lot of players coming through in quite short space of time who ultimately ended up playing for Scotland, going down to England, making United big money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dried up a wee bit in the past maybe 10 years or so. Not saying that it's completely gone or anything like that, but in terms of what it was 15 years ago, it's not quite the same. And this isn't a criticism, by the way, it's just an observation.
Mm-hmm.
But a bit like what happened with Dundee got relegated 3 or 4 years ago. They got relegated and it gave them a chance to play their youngsters. But what annoys me about it is that what tends to happen, didn't for a couple of the boys in Dundee's case, is that they get relegated and the play boys like Mulligan, Cameron breaks through, Sam Fisher was playing, all these young lads were getting chances. Like that was the main kind of breakout from Dundee that season. But then they get promoted, and in Dundee's case, Sam Fisher went to Dunfermline, but Mulligan and Cameron played, and ultimately progressed and have left to go into bigger and better things. But United went down the year after, and in that season Jim Goodwin played loads of young boys. He played Mochrie, he played Fotheringham, help us out here, there was more than just those two.
You had Lewis Nielsen probably.
I think he was maybe away by then. He went to Hearts, didn't he? But they had young boys playing, and they got promoted, and where are they all now? None of them are there. Now, they might not be good enough, right? But as soon as they got promoted, they weren't given the chance to be good enough.
No,
Like what?
look at
Well,
Fotheringham, mate.
well, sorry to interrupt you. Just one more thing. The game of last season was the derby. The boy Miller Thompson played. Where's he now? No
Falkirk on
place
the
to be
bench.
seen.
Yeah.
I didn't even think he went to Falkirk on loan
He's at Ross County.
last season. He's at Ross County, yeah, who are absolutely honking, by the way.
Can't get a game for
Ross
him, by the
County.
way.
Can I get a game for Ross County, who are honking the gaff out in the Championship, right? And who's to say that if he was just put into that United team, and Jim Goodwin was to have the mindset of, yeah, he's going to make mistakes, yeah, he might have a few poor games, but we're going to persist with him, then he might have kicked on and he might have had a better career. But in my opinion, it's no use playing him in the Championship, getting yourself promoted, and then just going, see you later. The young boys are never going to get a chance.
No. Well, I was saying, look at Fotheringham, mate, right? I have heard that medical circumstances have basically prevented him from playing football in the top flight. But in the first season, in the Championship, mate, he was brilliant. He scored something like 11 goals for right wing. He was he's a good player, mate. And went up to top flight. He's made maybe 5 appearances in the top flight. Why not just give him a chance? He's clearly proven himself at the Championship level. Why not give him the step up and let him try and prove himself against better opposition? Never got that chance, and now he's at St Johnstone, who are fair play doing pretty well this season in the Championship again. But look at boys like Chris Mockray. He's made the drop down. He never got given a chance. It's just a lot of the youngsters that could maybe play top flight football if given the chance, and they're not given it, and then they're just rotting away at a team in the Championship League One. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. So United have dried up. I don't get it. We just don't seem to give our youngsters a chance anymore. Look at Owen Sturton, mate. Maybe not got the ability to play in the top flight yet, but
Comes on for about 5 minutes last night, or Saturday, sorry.
Exactly, mate. What's that going to do? What is that going to achieve? Get him on loan to a Championship club, let him play there, see how he gets on, and then give him the minutes. He's not going to develop for 5 minutes.
They've got that cooperation agreement. I think, am I right in saying that United have got one with Airdrie?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, so basically that cooperation agreement's been put in place so that you could basically, it's like roll on, roll off subs almost. You just go, there's a player, and if we want him back, we'll take him back the next day. And then you can give him back the next day after that. So like Dundee have got it with Brechin, and the boy Crombie, who's meant to be one of the outstanding players coming through Dundee's youth system just now, and was one of the players that played in the Youth Cup final last season. He's just centre midfielder, and he's been on loan at Brechin, but he was on the bench last week for Dundee.
Mm-hmm.
And I was speaking to a boy that I know from the supporters club who has been involved with the youth academy at Dens, and he says he is a player, by the way. But the only way that you're going to get him playing is if he plays.
Yep.
And he goes, when we got relegated, like what I've just said, under McGee and that, and then Bowyer came in. Bowyer, nobody had seen Lyle Cameron. He played a handful of substitute games and one start at Dunfermline where he got ran ragged for Abdi because he was about 3'4" and playing right wing. But the only thing that Dundee had seen of Lyle Cameron was a handful of substitute appearances, that first half at Dunfermline, and he'd been on loan at like Peterhead or something and never got a game, and then went on loan to Montrose and done away alright. And then all of a sudden, we got relegated. Gary Bowyer was throwing him into the League Cup group sections. He scored a few goals, got his confidence up. By the end of the season, he was in Team of the Season. He was in the Under-21 Scotland squad. I mean, the only way they're going to get any better is if they're getting games.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that managers are under pressure and they're going to go for experience over not because it's saving their job and all this sort of thing. But I think Stephen Presley's in a different situation because the way that Dundee have structured everything behind him now, and the way that they're wanting to be this club who bring up talent, make them better, sell them on, he's not going to get as much hassle for the hierarchy at Dens as if he plays young boys. But I know that they've got to be good enough as well, and that's probably where some of the young boys at Dens are at the moment. But Cleo Hardin's clearly good enough because he was good enough to play at Livingston.
Yeah. But mate, Going back to the partnership agreement we've got with Airdrie, right? Clere Hardin is one of the players that we loaned to Airdrie. He's played one game for Airdrie, and every other time he's been on the bench for us, mate. He's not playing his minutes at Airdrie. We've got another boy, Scott Constable, on loan at Airdrie. I don't think he's made an appearance yet, mate. He just sits on the bench for United. And then the other boy, Jamie Beattie, he went there to Airdrie, never played a game, never even made the bench, and then we've loaned him out somewhere else. The players we're loaning to the Airdrie aren't getting the chance because we need them for our team to sit on the bench to make up the numbers. But surely it's more beneficial just to loan them out, let them play at Airdrie, and fill our bench with other youngsters that aren't getting game time elsewhere, and at least let these boys with really good potential play the minutes. Owen Sturton is rumoured to be signing for Airdrie in this window. He'll sign on loan, but he's not going to play because we're going to need him. So it's an absolute waste of a loan, mate.
You'd think that United would have enough players to fill their bench anyway.
You'd think so, but the players we've got on the bench aren't good enough.
9 subs and 11 stars. You've got a squad of 20. Now, you're not telling me that United haven't got 15, 16 first team players and they couldn't have filled their bench with a couple of 16-year-olds who aren't going to play but are there to make up the numbers.
Yeah, and the experience for them sitting on the bench is decent.
And then you can get the 17, 18, 19-year-olds who are really needing that first team exposure out to Airdrie. And I understand that they've got this cooperation agreement so it's flexible, but they need to trust their squad more, in my opinion. But anyway, we've went way off topic for the derby, but it was a good discussion. I did enjoy that. We'll move on to the score predictions from the past two games. So for us, it was game week 12 and 13. Game week 12 was the Dundee v Kilmarnock and Livingston v Dundee United card. So for the Kilmarnock game, Dundee Kilmarnock, we both were wrong in the score. It was a 2-1 Dundee victory. I went 2-2 and you went 0-0. So 0 points picked up there. For the Livingston United game, it was a 3-1 United victory. I went 2-0 and you went 1-0, both to United, so both picked up a point there. For the derby, it was a 1-0 Dundee victory. I went 1-0 and you went 1-0 Dundee. So your reverse psychology gained you 2 points. And we're now, after game week 13, sitting on Andrew with 9 points, Jack with 14.
Lying, mate.
So Miles clear at the top of that league at the moment. We'll move on now, though, to the rest of the weekend's card in the Premiership. So a lot of big games, obviously, with it being New Year. None bigger than the Old Firm game at Celtic Park, where it was Celtic 1, Rangers 3. Falkirk beat Aberdeen 1-0, which led to Jimmy Talline getting sacked. So I don't know about you, Jack. I was absolutely no surprised in that whatsoever.
I was slightly.
They've been shite for ages, mate.
Yeah, they did pick up the form recently, but it was obviously not good enough. Like I mentioned the other week, he's very much a purple patch manager, and if he's known as purple patch, then they're doing rubbish. So it's not ultimately surprising because of where they sit in the league, but I was kind of surprised.
I mean, he's always going to be a hero to their fans, and no wonder for winning that Scottish Cup. I mean, a lot of Aberdeen fans will have never seen them win a Scottish Cup, and he's going to be a cult hero for them, maybe even a legend. And who could blame some Aberdeen fans for thinking that? But I mean, ever since that big, huge run they had at the beginning of last season ended, they've been pretty shite. They've had a couple of purple patches here and there, normally around about when they play us. But yeah, they've been really, really, really shite. And I've got a lot of their signings, I mean, there are loads of Scandinavian boys who they've paid big money for in terms of Aberdeen, and they didn't look good enough.
Yeah, probably just don't suit the league.
No. Anyway, the rest of the card, Hearts 1, Livingston 0, Kilmarnock 1, Hibernian 3, and Motherwell 2, St Mirren 0. Now, also, since we're covering the rest of the league, we'll briefly touch on Celtic, and their manager's been sacked. Now, I wasn't very surprised when I seen that Talene had been sacked. I was even less surprised when I seen that Nancy had been sacked. What do you reckon?
Yeah, mate. It's not a really surprise. Obviously, not good enough, mate. System didn't work. I think it's unfair for the boy. He's not been even been given a window to try and improve his team.
I'm not being funny, Jack. Right? He's a Celtic manager and he's won 2 games out of 8 and he's lost
Yeah,
the other ones.
I
Now,
know, mate.
Roma, fair enough. Rangers have got up there with the same resources as Celtic. Celtic have got far more money than Rangers, right? They could sign better players with more money than Rangers can. So yeah, but obviously Rangers are closer. But all the rest of them, the game at Tannadice, they should have been out of sight. They come out in the second half and they were like Lockheed United. They were shite against Hearts. They were absolutely awful in the cup final against St Mirren. I never seen any of the Motherwell game, but apparently Motherwell absolutely pumped them off the park.
They did, mate. I seen the highlights.
Who else did they get beat by? Six
Don't know.
games they lost. Hearts, St Mirren, Roma, Rangers, Motherwell, and United. Yeah. So absolutely shite. I mean, you can't survive that as a Celtic manager. What do they do
True.
now? Do they go and get Martin O'Neill back again?
Maybe. Do you think he would take it? Probably.
I think he would, because he was wanting it when he left the last time.
Yeah, probably. Um, yeah. I think Martin O'Neill's the safe bet. He obviously proved he could get results with that squad, so you might as well take him until the end of the season.
Tell you what, they need a striker. They're absolutely honky tonk with a striker that they've got at the moment. That dog be Kenny. Holy shit. Anyway, transfer news, Jack. Just before I ask you about any United incomings or outgoings, Dundee have signed Joe Bevan from Burnley, 2.5 year deal. According to Stephen Presley in his press conference, they were kind of hoping that would be a summer signing, but a lot of teams were interested, according to Stephen Presley, so they had to act quicker. They've brought him in for an undisclosed fee.
I thought it was a loan deal.
No. If you look at his record, it's not the best in terms of goals in any sort of level of football. He scored low in league for Albion Rovers. But Burnley in the Premier League, do they sign mugs? Does any Premier League team sign a mug? So there's obviously talent there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hopefully it'll shine when he's at Dens. He's obviously good pals with Charlie Riley, who has been at Dens for a while. They played together at Albion Rovers. Obviously, just a side note to the Kilmarnock game last week, Charlie Riley, after 2.5 years, gets his first start for Dundee and his first goal for Dundee. So congratulations to him. It's been fully deserved given all the injuries he's had. So well done to Charlie Riley for that. But yeah, Joe Bevan joined. He was on the bench on Saturday, never got on, but hopefully see more of him as the season progresses. He could play wide, he could play through the middle. So yeah, interesting signing, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. I've not seen any rumours over the past couple of days. There's rumours that Aaron Donnelly, Ethan Hamilton, and a couple others are apparently available to leave. So we'll see what happens there, but. Yeah, United, any incoming rumours? And I know that there's been quite a big outgoing today.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to go back to Dundee, mate. Have you heard about Luke Graham receiving interest from a number of clubs?
Well, I've seen that Aberdeen were interested in him, right? But are Aberdeen going to pay what Dundee are going to want from him 18 months left on his contract?
Well, you've received the bid from Portsmouth.
Have
Yep, supposedly. And QPR and Sheffield United are interested as well, so could be some bids in for him this window.
Well, I'm pretty sure that when he was young, he went away down to Arsenal, I think. And then he went away to, I'm pretty sure he was at Sheffield United. He got like a couple of weeks of training or whatever with them. And he came back and he's done the classic thing that the loan system is built to do. So he was at Dundee, he went on loan to Lockheed United for a season, come back. He went on loan to Albion Rovers in League 2 for a season, come back. He went on loan to Montrose in League 1, come back. Falkirk in the Championship, come back. And now he's playing Premiership. He will have... I think he'll play for Scotland, Jack.
Yeah.
He's good enough, in my opinion. he'll not be at Dens long. I reckon if he was to go to a QPR or a Sheffield United, that we might get some sort of deal where he would go and come back till the end of the season on loan.
Maybe.
You never know, actually, if he was to go to one of them, he might actually hang around and play. But he's definitely good enough to kick on, and I'd say that I would reckon that he could be good enough to get a Scotland cap in his career. But the good thing about this one is that he's got time on his contract, so we'll get money for him this time.
Yeah.
And also, just before I let you in about United, it's been reported that from the Courier today, George Cran, that Dundee have got a sell-on clause for Josh Mulligan. So all the interest in him, Dundee got a development fee from Hibs, but part of the deal they agreed with Hibs was they've obviously got a lower fee, but they've agreed a sell-on clause, and that's absolutely brilliant from Dundee. That's what they should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
When Kamara went to Rangers for a development fee and they got like 50 grand for him, they should have just went to Rangers. Now we'll not take any money for the boy, but we'll want 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have got about triple what they got, or probably more than what they got in getting Kamara's 50 grand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy with that. Anyway, ingoings and outgoings with United.
Yeah, so obviously the big one, Evgeny Kucherenko has been sold for a fee and sell-on clause to a Greek club, Panathinaikos, who are playing in the top flight of Greece, apparently having quite a good season for their standards. And yeah, it's obviously boy suffered with confidence issues, needed a fresh start, and he's now left the club officially. We're looking at Jack Alnwick to replace him, former St Mirren player, played under Jim Goodwin there at St Mirren, currently at Cardiff. 6 months left on his deal, but Cardiff are wanting a fee for him, despite deeming him surplus to requirements. Rumoured to be around 50 grand for him, which for a 32-year-old, I don't know if it's worth it, but he is a decent goalkeeper. We're linked with a few other goalies as well. Like, we're looking at another few goalies as well. So he might not be the only one we're after. It might not be the one we sign. But we're linked with a boy from Kazakhstan a few months ago. He was wanted by Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, a few other big clubs, since signed for a Russian club on a pre-contract. So that's not going ahead. And we're also linked with a striker in Latvia, but it looks like he's going to sign for Hearts. So looks like we're looking at attacking options to build the squad this winter window. We'll wait to see what happens, but so far nothing coming off yet. What do you think Dundee need to strengthen this winter? Sorry.
Fullbacks. I think fullbacks is definitely one of them. I mean, obviously they've got a centre half in Astley playing it right back at the moment, and they've got a right footer in Dre Wright playing at left back at the moment. So they're certainly needing fullbacks. I mean, they've got Ethan Ingram, a right back, and Elmari Samuels, a left back, both on the bench on Saturday and in previous matches. So really goes to show you what Stephen Presley thinks of the two of them, in all honesty. I mean, Elmari Samuels, as much as I've probably criticised him this season, actually hasn't been too bad, but I don't know if that's me judging him on these standards of what I thought of him previously, or that's me being fair and saying that he's actually been relatively decent, but you can get an upgrade on him, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely fullbacks. Did they need another striker? When they've just signed Bevan, they've got Hay, they've got Murray, they've got Aqua, they've got Wesley. Probably not. If I was being greedy, they could probably bring in another centre midfielder, and I think they could definitely do with another centre half. You've got Clark Robertson there, who has been playing most of the season, has been out recently with injury. You've had the two that are playing just now in Graham and Cometio, been relatively decent recently, kept 2 clean sheets in the past 3 games, so can't really argue too much. I don't think he's going to go for a goalkeeper. I think he's fairly content with McCracken. And yeah, the wingers there that they've got aren't going to get dislodged unless they sign a better quality of player. So yeah, I think the full-back area is something that they'll certainly target. One thing I wanted to mention to you though was the United are full up on loans, aren't they?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Rangers are saying that X amount of players can leave, and Lyle Cameron's name was mentioned as a player who could leave but on loan. And I was speaking to a couple of United supporting friends about this, and they were like, "We can't sign him because we're full at capacity on loan." But United have got options on some boys. They've got like agreed fees
Hmm.
on a few of them. If I was United and if I was Lyle Cameron, I'd go to England because,
Hmm.
in my opinion, what's the point in Leo Cameron going on loan to another Premier League team in Scotland? He's going to learn nothing. He's going to be playing against exactly the same teams that he's played against whilst at Rangers and whilst at Dundee. Exactly the same stadiums. There's no point. He's not going to learn anything different. If I was Leo Cameron, I'd go abroad or go down south. Get yourself out your comfort zone. Go and test yourself in a new league against new players, new ideas, all that sort of thing, and see how you go on. But if it was United, I'd be asking the question, and I'll tell you what I would be doing. I'd be saying to Barnsley, "Here's Carl, the boy Waters. You could have him back because I'll tell you something. He is hopeless,
Yeah, I think
hopeless."
we do have options on some players. I think we've got options on Dolcek and Crestes. Dolcek, I don't see us triggering that. I think he's come right off the boil. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see him as loan terminated. Below us bringing someone else. Waters, I would get rid of him. He's not doing anything. Gives us room to bring in a striker. As much as I don't want to say it, I think we can probably get rid of Papo. If he's not going to be fit, what's the point in keeping him here? Might as well free up that loan slot, free up some wages for someone else.
Well, I've heard a rumour that the boy Papo was apparently offered back to his club, and the club have said no.
Well, I heard that as well, but maybe we've decided to not put an option in till I was to terminate it, which is stupid. Um, but we just obviously we don't know. It's just rumours. It's just hearsay. I don't know how long he's out for still. Could be out to the end of the season. Who knows? But like we need an attacking option. We need at least a striker or a winger. If we sign a striker, it moves Sapsford out to the wing, or if we bring in a winger, it moves Sapsford into the centre. I think we do need the creative option. Lyle Cameron could be that for us. He is rumoured to be a United fan, so I think he was released for United when he was a youngster to sign for Dundee. So we do need that, and we need a goalie as well, mate. Obviously, Kucherenko left the club. Richard's probably not good enough to be our regular starter. So, yeah, I think ideally for United, we need a goalie, a centre mid, and a striker or winger to strengthen this winter transfer window.
Yeah, well, he's definitely a United supporter, but obviously that doesn't really matter. It's his professional career, isn't it? So it doesn't matter really who he supports. But yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully next week we'll have more to speak about in regards to transfer news because it's always exciting, really. And you're building up. I was just having a wee nosy there, and Hearts are also interested in Luke Graham, but Dundee apparently wanted at least £1 million for him. So at least we're holding out for a decent enough fee.
Mm.
If I was Dundee, I'd say to Graham, we're wanting this amount for you and now, and if it doesn't get met, you're going the summer.
Yeah.
Because you're going the summer anyway. He's not going to sign a new deal. So I'd rather have him to the end of the season and then sell him, but you never know in football. But anyway, after we've spoken about Nancy getting the sack, United are at Parkhead at the weekend, Jack. What are you thinking is going to happen there?
Well, I was confident of 3 points, mate. Probably easiest 3 points of the season, but I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. I think any half decent manager will get a tune out of Celtic, and United will probably get battered considering our run of form recently. Celtic have brought in Julian Arujo, I think from Bournemouth on loan, ex-Barcelona player. Obviously, if you're playing in the Prem and being at Barcelona, you've got some ability about you. So I think that's an area Celtic were weak in this season. Ralston, I think, was the right back, and he's not a good enough player to play for Celtic, in my opinion. So, yeah, they've strengthened there. They're also able to sign another winger. don't know if he'll be in the squad in time for the match, but it's the game's got on a lot more difficult considering Nancy's been sacked.
Well, whoever comes in will be ditching that 3-4-3 formation anyway because they're wide open.
Yeah,
With
that's
that.
what
But,
United play.
well, but United are at least a bit more defensively simmed. And I'm not saying that United are brilliant or anything like that, but Celtic play 3-4-3 and just put everybody up and have any man save at the back.
Mm.
Absolute disaster. I mean, did you see any of the goals at the weekend? The Rangers goals?
Yeah, did you?
What about the second goal? What is the boy Trusty doing? He's running alongside and gets Barden, and the boy Chermiti just runs right into the box and scores.
Yeah, I know, mate.
That's Sunday League defending.
I don't know what it must be a confidence thing. Got to be, mate. The pressure on them knowing that they're getting beat every week. So well, I can't make a mistake. And then that just puts them off their game. Who knows, mate?
Oh, God,
but it is rookie.
Terrible. Yeah, I have to say I do fear for United. And United have obviously not got the best of records at Parkhead anyway. But not a lot of teams do, but United haven't won there for a long, long time. So they would have been going there with a wee bit of positivity, a wee bit of confidence, I suppose, after Saturday. But after the manager getting sacked, it's one of them. But you never know. We've got just as equally a difficult game. We've got Hearts at Dens on Sunday at 2 o'clock live on Sky. I think this is going to be the game that brings us back down to earth with an almighty thud. What would you say?
I think Dundee have got a good record against Hearts.
They're decent enough, but I can't see Dundee taking much off Hearts this season.
Mate, twice we played them, I don't think they've been anything special. But Dundee are on a decent run just now. Like I say, I think you can do well for the rest of the season. But Hearts have signed a new boy at right back. He was playing at the weekend. And they're going to be strengthening other positions as well. They've probably got one of the best players in the league in that Tannadice or whatever his name is, the right winger, the Greek boy.
Tannadice, he's a good player.
Yeah, mate, good player. It's a tough ask. Tough ask for Dundee, but it's doable. You beat Rangers and you beat Celtic this season, so I don't see why you can't beat Hearts as well.
Well, you never know. It's at home. The last time Hearts were at Dens won 6-0. Funny, I was standing at I think it was 2-0 half time, if I'm right. And it's just my pal I go to the matches with says half time. And I never buy food at the football. Like I very, very, very rarely buy food at the football. And I says to him at half time, he goes, I quite fancy something to eat. I was going out that night, straight for the match, I think. So he goes, we'll go up to the pie stall at half time. So I went up to the pie stall and the queue was massive. Standing in the queue for the entirety of half time. And then the second half starts. Now, because I sit in the dairy at Dens, the pie stall was just a metal cage hut thing at the back. So you're outside still, and you could see through the door into the stand, and you could see either the pitch, the Hearts end, whatever. And the game was wearing on, and you could hear like the Hearts fans, like the noise lifting as they're approaching the goal. And I gets to the person before me was getting served, and I thought if they score again, I'll go 3-0. I'm off ski. And then it gets to the front of the queue, and just about to, the lassie who was going to serve me turned around, and she was obviously just about to say, "What are you having?" or whatever. And then I heard Hearts scoring. And I just goes, forget it. I turned around and walked out. Went to the pub, and my mate who go to the matches with come into the pub after the match, and he's like, "Take it, you left at half time." I was like, "Yep." So yeah, that was a good experience, but that was a long time ago. So hopefully things change. But we'll do our score predictions. So for Celtic versus Dundee United, what are you saying?
I'm going to go 3-0 Celtic.
You've took mine. I'll tell you what, I will go for 2-1 Celtic. See if United can get a goal and rock the boat a bit. For Hearts against Dundee, I'm going to stick along the theme that I introduced into the podcast and say the almighty thud. I'm going to say 3-1 Hearts.
Good score. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 2-2, mate.
2-2. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, okay. That just brings us on nicely to another challenge, the Futbology Challenge. Now, you'll be absolutely gobsmacked to find out, listeners, that Jack has a forfeit weekend.
Yep.
So that is another 0 points and a 1-0 loss to add to the record. So, Martin is the league leader at the moment. If you're watching on screen, if you're watching YouTube, you'll see on screen the league table and the results, obviously. So Martin has a 1-1 draw this week. It was from the 5th of January 2019. Dundee United 1, Partick Thistle 1. The managers were Robbie Neilson and Gary Caldwell. The starting 11 for United: Benji Siegrist, Fraser Aird, Callum Booth, Rashid Buhena, Frederick Franz, Stuart Murdoch, Fraser Fivey, Sam Stanton, Paul McMullen, Pavel Safranco and Matty Smith. And on the bench, Matej Rakovan, Jamie Robson, Paul Watson, Billy King, Aidan Nesbitt, Christoph Rabich and Craig Curran. For Partick Thistle, Connor Hazard, Christy Elliott, Stephen Saunders, Sean McGinty, James Penrice, Blair Spittle, Gary Harkins, Stuart Bannigan, Craig Slater, Chris Doolan and Miles Storey. And on the bench, Jamie Snedden, Chris Erskine, Andrew McCarthy, Callum Wilson, Daniel Jeffries, Joe Cardle and Alistair Roy. The scorers were Doolan on 9 and Fraser Fivey with a penalty on 62. Jack, that team, some of the names, so you've got your Fraser Airds, you've got Freddie Franz, you've got Safranco, Rabich. Does that bring a cold sweat on?
Yeah, mate, some of them are horrendous. Couldn't get a game for the Puri, never mind United. Yeah, mate. Like, boys like Rabich, mate, right? He clearly wanted to do well, he just wasn't good enough. But boys like Fraser Aird, mate, how on earth he's a professional footballer, I will never know. Doesn't have the attitude and doesn't have the ability. But somehow he made it as a pro, I suppose. Better player than me, so yeah, mate, that's a scary team.
Well, moving on to my score, and I closed the gap this week with a win. I had a game from the 5th of January 2025, so last year. It was Dundee against St Johnstone, or St Johnstone against Dundee at McDiarmid Park with an attendance of 5,256. The score was St Johnstone 1, Dundee 3. The manager Simo Valakari and Tony Docherty. And the team starting with St Johnstone: Joshua Ray, Bozo Mikulich, Jack Sanders, Andre Raymond, Dre Wright, Nicholas Clark, is that Nicky Clark I think, Matt Smith, Sven Sprangler, Adamus Adibe, Benjamin Kimpioka and Graham Carey. And on the bench, Aaron Essel, Maxime Kucheravi, Josh McPake, Fran Franchak, Cameron McPherson, David Keltons, Craig Hepburn, Brodie Dare and Aaron Brookfield. And for Dundee, Trevor Carson, Ryan Astley, Luke Graham, Clark Robertson, Oluwaseun Aldewumi, Lyle Cameron, Josh Mulligan, Mo Silla, Simon Murray, Seb Palmer-Holden and Scott Tiffany. And on the bench, John McCracken, Harrison Sharp, Ethan Ingram, Sammy Braybrook, Cesar Garza, Julian Vetro and Curtis Main. The scorers were Murray on 3, Palmer-Holden on 10, Cameron on 22 and McPake on 67. So, after the 22 game weeks we've had, the league table looks like it does on screen. It has been on screen for a while. Martin leads the way on 24 points. I have 21, and Jack is a wee bit behind now in third on 12. So the Futbology Challenge will return next week, as always, but this time we will move on to our January monthly top 5. Now, it was Jack's month to pick, the subject. He just went for away days. So the way that we are interpreting that is not particular away days that you've had, just what is your top 5 favourite away days? What ones do you look forward to win or hope happen in a cup draw or whatever? So, Jack, you could kick things off with your number 5.
Number 5 for me is Hamilton. I just like, obviously it's only got 2 stands and gets slaughtered for it, but I like the fact that there's just a little gate in the way between the 2 sets of fans, and you always get the Hamilton fans running up to the gate shouting abuse at you, which I think is actually quite funny. So yeah, number 5's Hamilton for me.
Okay, number 5 for me is Dunfermline. Now, it's not really an away day that I've really done very many times, to be honest with you. I think I've only been to Dunfermline maybe 6, 7 times. But what I like about it is the ground's pretty much in the city centre, if not maybe about within walking distance of the city centre. It's relatively near Dundee, and it is within a walking distance of the Elizabethan, which is one of the best away fan pubs in Scotland. So, for me, number 5, East End Park, Dunfermline. Number 4.
Number 4 for me is St Mirren. Nice wee ground, mate. Obviously, it's quite a wee bit of a distance away near Glasgow, so you've got a time to have a few drinks and whatnot. And yeah, the times I've been there, I've had a good time. So, yeah, number 4, St Mirren.
Number 4 for me is Hamilton Accies, which obviously you've went for. And the reason why I picked Hamilton was because for a while there was a wee bit of needle, a wee bit of spice between Dundee and Hamilton. We were going for similar goals. There was a season where we were both in the Championship going for the league title. There was also a season previous to that, about 10 years previous, where there was Dundee and Hamilton were involved in another title race. That progressed into the Premier League, and there was trying to get in the top 6, trying to avoid relegation. So for 3-4 years there was always that bit of needle. The players took that on the pitch as well. Boys like McKinnon, Dougie Imrie, Ali Crawford, those guys. So you could always get a good atmosphere at those games. So that's what I've went for. Number 3 for you, Jack.
Number 3 for me, I've went for Arbroath. Just along the road, obviously not too far away. Nice wee ground on the edge of the water. Obviously a bit windy at times and whatnot, but like I say, it's literally a 20-minute drive for Dundee, 50-minute drive for Dundee. So, yeah, Arbroath, number 3.
Okay. For me, at number 3, I've went for Montrose. Now, it was really a toss-up between Arbroath and Montrose, in all honesty. But I went for Montrose because I've done it more often, and if it's the winter, it's not minus 4,000 degrees in Montrose, whereas it is in Arbroath, maybe just at Gayfield. As you say, relatively close to Dundee, so even if it's just a League Cup section or whatever, you're still going to take quite a handy support up. So the more fans there are, the better the atmosphere and all that sort of thing. The fuller the away end, the better the atmosphere. So, yeah, that's why I went for Montrose. It's not too far away. You can get the train up, have a good day out. There's quite a few decent pubs in Montrose on the high street, and then it's a 5-10 minute walk from the high street to the stadium. So that's why I've went for Montrose. Well, number 3.
Right. Number 2 for me, I've went for Motherwell. A few pubs nearby that are pretty good. I've always thought it was like a nice wee stadium. I always remember going to the game with Martin, who comes on the show obviously sometimes, and he got absolutely bluttered, passed out, missed the whole game, but got beat. So good for him not watching it, I suppose. And then we had to wake him up to leave the game, and he didn't know what happened. Yeah, number 2 for me, Motherwell.
Shout out Martin, I'm sure if he's listening, which he hopefully will be, he'll be pissing himself laughing at that.
Yeah.
Number two for me is Wraith Rovers. As I say, it's another one of the ones where it's the relatively close to the town centre. You also have a good location for the train station, where it's a 10-minute walk from the train station, 10-minute walk to the town centre. A lot of good pubs in the town centre as well. Usually take quite a big crowd through because it's only 50 minutes in the car, similar sort of time on the train. And Dundee have got a good record there. I've only ever seen Dundee lose there once, and I think I've been there 10, 11 times. So, number two for me, Wraith Rovers.
And number one for me is Hibernian. I live in Edinburgh, just outside Edinburgh, so it's not too far from me. I love crossing the bridge before and after the game. It's not too far of a walk from the city centre. There's pubs all nearby. You get pizza at the game, which is class. So yeah, number one for me, Hibs.
Yep, number one for me is Hibs as well. The thing I like about Hibs is that you can get the train in. I tend to get the supporters bus or drive to the football, but I know that I've kind of went on about trains for the past 2 or 3 ones. I would tend to do trains for these games. The special thing for me when talking about Hibs is that with having family member in Edinburgh, we tend to make it like a bit of a day out, and my dad will go, my uncle will go, who don't really go to the away games, but they'll go because we're having this bit of a family day out. I should probably say Hearts because I've seen Dundee win at Tynecastle, but I've never seen them win at Easter Road, and I've been to Easter Road more times than I've been to Tynecastle. But yeah, Hibs is good. You can work your way down the Royal Mile into Leith. You can work your way down Leith Walk and into Leith, and then you've got obviously pubs on Easter Road, Middletons. There's another good one on London Road that we were in, the Artisan, I think it's called. So a lot of good pubs. Edinburgh's obviously full of great pubs. I really like Edinburgh for a night out, which we used to do back in the day after Hibs.
We did,
but we've not done for a wee while now. But yeah, Hibs for me. You could probably put Hearts in that equation as well. Both are very good away days. But yeah, Hibs just snuck it for me. So yeah, my top 5: 1 Hibs, 2 Wraith Rovers, 3 Montrose, 4 Hamilton Accies, 5 Dunfermline. Jack: 1 Hibs, 2 Motherwell, 3 Arbroath, 4 St Mirren, and 5 Hamilton Accies. So that is the January monthly top 5. We have obviously got February, we've got March, we've got April, and we've got May, which will then conclude the league season. We might do June as well. We'll probably will do June as well because we'll be building up to Scotland in the World Cup. So if that's the case, we do have enough subjects to take us through to the end of the season, Jack. If not, then we'll probably in need of one more. But if we do February, March, April, May and June, we do have enough. So that'll take us through to the end of the season, and then we'll have a wee break in the summer. But yeah, that is the end of episode 27 of the Sandeman podcast. Really enjoyed that one. It has been good, obviously. I would say that. But just before we go, if you could follow us on our socials. On Twitter, we are at SandemanSTPod, SandemanSTPod. And on Instagram, we are at the Sandeman Street Pod, at the Sandeman Street Pod. You can find us on YouTube as well via the link tree on our socials, or by typing in Sandeman Street Podcast in the YouTube search bar. If you could subscribe to our channel, that would be great. Like our videos, would be much appreciated. But from a beaten Derby Day game, Jack with United, and from a Derby Day victor from me, our site, our rules. Bye for now.